Have you done a video on the reshot structure and Atlantis? I've covered Atlantis a little bit, Dark Moon. Reshot structure, if you don't know, is this very strange structure in the west part of Africa that is alleged to be, let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about, alleged to be Atlantis. Speaking of Randall, he doesn't think so. I'm assuming you guys know what this is, but let me just show it to you. You can only see it from space. So this is over in the west part of Africa. This is called a reshot structure. Sometimes it's called the eye of the Sahara. You can only see it this way from way, way up high. Now here's a picture comparing. So if you remember Plato's description of Atlantis, is that right? Yeah. If we remember Plato's description of Atlantis, it was concentric rings, where the city with water in between. So the reshot structure kind of does look like that. I saw a great animation, but I don't think I could find it on the fly. This is the secret to Rogan's success, right? Yo, Jamie, can you look up that animation where the reshot structure goes from reshot to Atlantis? Thanks. I'll get back to the show. That's a secret to success. For me, I got to go, hang on, clickety, clickety, click. I don't have a Jamie. I got Gino, but you can't type. So this is the reshot. And speaking of the reshot structure, when I'm telling you about the heavy runoff, those like the huge tsunami that Carlson was talking about, same area of Africa. So if you talk about Atlantis getting wiped out by a great flood, there's evidence for sure, 100% of a great flood. In fact, here's a picture of it, of a great flood in the area. These ripples are huge. Let's see if I can find a better picture for you. To answer your question, Dark Moon, I haven't covered it. This could be the video I was talking about. Let's got to be careful. Got to be careful. Now, it was a cool video that shows like them building Atlantis into the reshot structure, but this is a very common image that you'll see of Atlantis. I haven't covered it because Corsetti's covered it. Seems like he covers it frequently. But Jimmy Corsetti over at Bright Insight, a very good channel. I'm sure you guys all sub to that channel. Jimmy covers a lot of this kinds of stuff. So he makes a case for this being Atlantis. I don't know. I don't know. The official story is Atlantis is just an allegory. Is Plato writing an allegory for the avarice and hubris of man and the dangers of that. Or there was Atlantis. So, I like to present all sides. I think there was an Atlantis where cities like this. I think there was. I don't know if that's what Plato was talking about, but I think they were there. It'd be obnoxious, arrogant to think that they weren't. Gobekli shows up and everything changes. This is just a thumbnail, but this is art I've seen before that's really cool. That's a still shot of the animation I'm telling you about. So Dark Moon, haven't specifically covered it because it would just be a rehash of Jimmy's video. I don't really have any new information to add on that. A story about Atlantis might be fun. I just, that's been covered pretty heavy. We'd have to find a different way to approach it. Maybe lost mythical cities. I think on Jen's list of topics, she's got Lemuria on there, which is another lost continent, allegedly out in the Pacific, where, according to the legend, Easter Island the big heads. Easter Island was a southern city on Lemuria, and I covered this in another video. So you've got Lemuria as let me see if I can get you a picture of that. Something very strange about Easter Island. If I would like one with Easter Island. I'm probably not going to get it, but I will explain it. This isn't this. I can at least make my point. So Lemuria is allegedly this huge island in the Pacific, and you've got Easter Island down in the south. Let me make sure. I got to do it reverse for the camera. Easter Island down in the south. Up top, you've got the Kingdom of Hawaii, and then over on the west side, you've got it's Micronesia is really what it is. Okay, but here's what's really strange. We know Easter Island. We know that the heads, the Maori, the heads are buried. Like, a lot of people don't know that those heads have bodies that go down 10, 20, 30, 40 feet. I mean, they go down pretty deep. These are huge statues. So why would anyone build that? It's not like there's a head and it's just a post. They're digging and it's arms, legs. It's, someone went to the trouble of sculpting the whole body. So then what you're telling me they did is you sculpted a 3-ton solid piece of stone into a whole figure of a body and then just buried it 40 feet high. And you do that 1,000 times. There's 1,000 of those on the island. 1,000 times. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. What does make sense is they were just there and then something happened, a mud flood or some type of cataclysm that buried the statues. But they're so massive and heavy that they didn't topple, although a few of them did. But here's what I find really crazy about Easter Island. The languages spoken on Easter Island, at one point, 20,000 people lived on the island. I'm telling this story. Do you know where Easter Island is? You kind of have to see it. Easter Island map. This might make the point. Easter Island ain't nowhere. Easter Island is nowhere. There's nothing. There's no reason for anyone to go here. But the mainstream science, archaeology, paleontology, is that people migrated from Micronesia, Indonesia, this area here, and they took little boats thousands of miles across the Pacific and stuck the landing. And there's 20,000 people there. But if Lemuria is real, they just walk there. So what would be evidence of that? Well, the languages spoken here, Easter Island, parts of Micronesia, all have Greek roots, not modern Greek, ancient Greek roots. And that's not a conspiracy theory. That's a fact, and it's something that linguists study, and they don't really know. It's a little bit of Greek spills into the Micronesian languages, the Pacific Islander languages, and then goes that way. Okay, but what makes sense is the people came from there speaking Greek or hearing Greek or learning Greek, and then they migrate over thousands of years to Easter Island, and the language just evolves from there. So Dark Moon, that could be the video, sunken continents, lost cities, and do it all in one. Because Lemuria doesn't get enough love, I don't think. Everyone wants to talk about Atlantis, but nobody wants to talk about Lemuria. And as you can tell, that's an interesting one to me.
This is clearly not a professional operation.